Okay, good. All right, from here, go to that tree right there. Good. I want you to shoot that target over there. Point, if you're not sure which target. Good, right there, good. Good, excellent. Now, I want you to, go ahead, you can reholster. Okay, I want you to shoot that target there. Hold on, there's two targets there. You may not shoot. Is it the one on the right or the one on the left?
The left, over here.
Yeah, shoot the one on the left. Give me a hit. Good. All right, shoot the other red target now. Shoot that. Nope, I want you to shoot that. There you go. That's why we got to communicate. Go ahead. Good, excellent. Reholster. Very good. And move up. Okay, hold on. Move up. Which direction is move up, though? So again, show me which way. Point that way. I want you to move up that way. Go ahead.
To me, up is forward.
Yeah, up. It depends on which direction you're looking at.
Right.
Because when I say my sense of up might be different from your sense of up.
Right, right.
Move to that tree right over there. Stop and gaze that target to the right. Nope, that one right there. Yep, that one. Good. Good, excellent. Reholster. Good. All right, move that way. Engage target on the right. That one, yep. Good, excellent. Reholster. That's good. Because what I was looking for there is I wanted to make sure that before you drew your gun from your holster, you brought your hand back. I didn't want you to pull your gun out while you were still pointing out there. Move up. So that's important. That's one of the things that we're trying to make sure that's being done today. When you point, make sure that you don't point in front of the gun. Okay, hug the wall to the right. Threat, right in front of you. Red stripe, yeah, right there, engage. Give me a hit. Good, that's a little further than the other targets. Good. Reholster. That's a little further than the other target, so you got to take your time with the shot. Move up. When you see the next target, engage. There you go. All right, move to the right, take cover and do your reload. If you can still see your target, you're still exposed. If you can see the target can see you. Okay, that's fine. Okay, come out, shoot that target. Good. All right, and reholster. That's very good. We're introducing this idea of communicating. Different ways to communicate, but what happens is, especially through the noise, talking might be difficult. Okay, move up, go to that berm over there. All the way up. Target on your right. Red target. That one, yep. Good, excellent. Reholster. Good. Move up. Big target straight ahead. Nope, that one. There you go. See it? That's why we got to communicate. Good.
I don't know why I gotta go through.
Target on the left, right there. That one, yep. Careful not to point in front of the gun. Good. All right, move behind the wall, and you know that wrong way. You know that target's dead.
Right.
That target, you don't want that target to be able to see you. So go left.
All right.
Because you already shot the target on the right. That one can't hurt you. The target on the left is the one that can now shoot you.
Then where am I?
Yep.
We're done.
Oh, you're done? Here, take another mag. Yep. Here you go. All right, good. Now come out just enough so that you can get the angle. Good, excellent. All right. Okay, creep out a little bit more. See if there's another target. There you go. There's only one target left, so it's going to be the only one. All right, you're hitting the dirt, so there you go. You got it. Good, excellent, very good.
I had to go a little bit higher.
Hello, everyone. Let's talk about the training exercise that you just saw. Okay, so that was an exercise in communication. Okay, being able to communicate with other people, both in terms of receiving information and giving information. Right, because although in this exercise, you saw that I was the person that was giving the information, right, and the other person was shooting. So a lot of times I'll actually flip it around, right, where I will put the student behind me, and I will have them communicate the targets that they want me to shoot, right? And the reason why I do that is because I want them to also have that skill of being able to communicate. Because in many scenarios, they might end up being the more experienced person, right? Because let's say it's them and their wife, right? So they need to be able to receive information, and they also need to be able to give information. So that's an exercise that needs to be done both ways. You need practice both accepting the information and also giving the information. Now, the way we were doing it is by pointing. Okay, the reason why we used pointing is because it's the easiest way to communicate, especially in a possible scenario where there's a lot of noise and sometimes the voice may not be heard. Also, it's pretty clear, right? If I'm pointing this way or that way or to this or to that, that's a lot clearer than if I say target on the left or target on the right. And the reason is because if I'm standing like this, well, target on my right is here. But if I'm standing like this, target on my right is that way. And if you're working with other people, keep in mind that you're not all going to be pointing or looking in the same direction, right? You might be standing like this, the other person might be standing like that, the other person might be standing like that. So you're all going to have a different sense of what's left and what's right and what's forward and what's back, okay? So that's why I teach people to point on a three-dimensional range. Okay? Now, the person that you saw in the video, they've been on a three-dimensional range before. As you noticed that they were pretty comfortable with the handling of the gun. Because a lot of times I will get people that maybe they've been shooting for 10, 20 years on a flat range or two-dimensional range. And they're excellent shots. They know how to handle their guns, but then I throw them in a three-dimensional range where now they're thinking, the brain's trying to process a lot of information for the first time, and they forget very basic things like how to load a gun, right? How to change a magazine. Okay, so that's actually something that's very common. Doesn't always happen to everybody, but with lots of experienced people, I have seen that you throw them in a 3D range where now they got to process a lot of information, and they do forget a lot of the basics. Okay. So normally what I'll do is, I'll get people accustomed to shooting on the three-dimensional range. I'll take them around to several different locations so that they get used to this idea of being able to figure out the scenario kind of on the fly, right? You gotta be able to do that. You gotta develop that skill. And what I will do is I will practice communicating with them using the hand signals. Okay, now as you saw in the video, what I was doing with this lady is I was tapping her on the shoulder because I was behind her, tapping her on the shoulder, reaching out in front of her so she could see my hand, and then I was pointing to her, pointing to her either what direction to move in or what targets to shoot at. And what I also told her was to basically confirm back to me by pointing what direction I wanted her to move in or what targets I wanted her to shoot at, okay? And the important thing here is that all of this was figured out during the scenario, right? So what I didn't do was tell her in advance, okay? I didn't choreograph any of this, right? And I normally don't do that. I want people to be able to figure these things out as they're going through the scenario, right? Because if I choreograph, okay, we're gonna go here, do this, turn left here, turn right, then they just memorize things, right? So this is a communication drill. Okay, that's the thing that we're trying to get out of this, and specifically trying to come up with a method of communicating with somebody that you are meeting for the first time. Okay, because a difference here is I am not training people to be part of a SWAT team. Okay, where they train together for a long period of time as a tactical team, right? And they develop a way of communicating where they don't even have to talk. They can just kind of look, and each person knows what the other person it means. Okay, that's not what I'm training these people for, right? Because they're not training to be part of a team. They're being trained individually, but I want them to develop the type of skill that they can quickly figure out with other people how to communicate and how to move through scenario. Now, the question might come up of why in an active shooter type of situation, why would you be moving? Why wouldn't you just be taking cover and kind of hunkering down? Well, you may have a child that's basically loose someplace else, and you need to you need to go get them, right? Because you don't know if they're in danger or not. So that might be a scenario where you can't stay still. You need to go get your child, or you've already determined that, okay, let's say you're in a certain position. You've already determined that if you stay in this position, you are in great danger and you need to leave. Okay. So again, if you need to leave, there's a possibility that you might encounter other dangers on the way out. So these are all reasons why you would need to move, right, in an active shooter type of situation. Okay. So again, the training exercise here is figuring out how to communicate with somebody that you're meeting for the first time. Okay, and the communication is more than just pointing which direction you want to move in or what targets need to be shot. A lot of it is also reminding the other person to reload. Let's say when they need to reload, or to reholster the gun when it needs to be reholstered. It's probably in most cases it's not going to be the safest thing to be moving around with the gun outside of the holster, right? Because for one thing, other people might see you, not know who you are, and perceive you as a threat. So if you got to move with the gun, you probably want to have it covered up. But if it doesn't even need to be out of the holster, basically keep it in the holster as you move. It lessens if you need to use your hands for whatever reason to climb or whatever, your hands are free. So ideally, you don't want the gun to come out of the holster until you actually need to use it. Okay, so as you're moving through this scenario with people, you want to remind them, get used to reminding them to reholster the gun, get used to reminding people to take cover. Okay, so these are all things that we want to work into the training scenario. So don't be, as this type of scenario, you want to get comfortable with giving instructions and taking instructions. And communicating. Okay, so that's what you saw in this video. And every time I kind of do something like this, a lot of times with different people, sometimes I will develop a different way. And again, this is happening, through the scenario itself. Okay, sometimes people will be able to accept the information a lot easier and acknowledge it. Other times it takes a lot more effort for people to understand what direction to move in or what targets to shoot at. Okay, or sometimes people have a difficult time understanding what it really means to take cover from a certain threat that's in front of them. Okay, so again, these are all things that can be worked out in the training scenario, because a lot of times what happens is you can teach people on the flat range and they will do all these things perfectly in isolation, but then when you add certain elements of uncertainty, all of a sudden, they get very confused. Things start falling apart. So yeah, so you gotta train these things in an environment where at least some things are unknown. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to mention is because of all these unknowns. Okay, this is really important. You kind of almost have to go with the assumption that you might have made a mistake somewhere, right? You might have made a mistake. Don't assume that you're perfect. Don't assume that you're not going to make a mistake. And that's the reason why when this is all over, you do not talk to the police. All right, you keep your mouth shut and you get a lawyer, because you're dealing with all these unknowns. Right, on the flat range, on the two-dimensional range, we don't make mistakes. Right. But in a 3D range with unknown targets, unknown directions that we're going to be moving and shooting in, there's a much higher chance that we might make a mistake. And that's why we keep our mouth shut and we let the lawyer do the talking for us. Okay. Now, the lawyer service, the prepaid legal service that I use, and there's a few others out there. I've done comparison videos. These guys seem to be the cheapest, which is the reason why I use them. It's US Lawshield. Okay, and it's $10 a month, $11 a month, actually $11 a month. And then with the promo code, which is Pocono Shooting right there, you get some type of a discount. It's usually an extra month, or they take $20 off or something like that. It ends up being about $130 a year. Okay, you gotta register through the sign up through the website, which is uslawshield.com, or through their app, right? And then put that promo code in the field in order to get the discount. And this is where you really start seeing, how you might need that U.S. legal, that prepaid legal service, when you start thinking of being in an unknown scenario with unknown threats, unknown other people around you, all unknown, lots of unknowns. If you think about everything else that you do in life, right? When you're dealing with a whole bunch of unknowns, you usually make a mistake, right? Okay, so that's kind of like the normal thing, right? When you're dealing with a lot of unknowns, it is somewhat common to make a mistake. So don't assume that if you're ever in a highly stressful self-defense situation, that's going to be the one time that you don't make a mistake. Okay, there's a good chance you will make mistakes. And you don't know what mistakes you will make. Okay, you don't know what mistakes you will make the mistakes without even knowing that you made the mistakes, which is why you should not talk to the police, right? Because you might think that you did everything correctly, and you know what, you just basically admitted to a whole bunch of mistakes. And remember, they're not interested in all the other crimes and mistakes that the bad guy did. If you did one or two one thing wrong, they're gonna nail you, right? Especially if you are in an anti-gun state, right? If you're in an anti-gun state, they're gonna take that one little thing that you did wrong, and they're going to use that against you, even if it's just to take away your carry permit. But if they can take it as far as getting conviction on you, that's another point for them. Okay. So that's why it's really important. If you're in if you're in a self-defense type of situation, the things that you need to be concerned with after the event, okay? First of all, get the gun back in the holster as fast as possible, right? Hide the gun, all right, and then get it back in the holster as fast as possible, because other people coming on the scene don't know who you are. You want to preserve the evidence, right? So basically, guns, knives, make sure that, to whatever extent possible, make sure that the evidence is not moved or destroyed. And if it is, you have to make a report right then and there to the police, where hopefully it can be verified. If that's not done immediately, that might be lost, right? And that might work against you. So you want to preserve the evidence, identify the witnesses, okay? So basically, you want to point out to the police who was there, and point them to go talk to them. That's important, right? Because if those witnesses disappear, you're not going to get them back. Okay, so you want to point out the witnesses. Other important thing is you want to establish that you're the victim. Okay, you don't want to talk to the police. You don't want to give them any detail, but you do want to establish that you're a victim. Okay, without giving any detail beyond that, and then get your prepaid lawyer on the phone and let them do the talking for you. If you don't have a prepaid lawyer in a situation like that, you're going to be probably calling up your wife and your mother and telling them to go find you a lawyer, all right? In which case, you're going to stress the crap out of them. And in which case, they got to go find a lawyer and hand over like a $2,000 retainer, just so that the lawyer can look at your case, okay? So you definitely want to, for the $130 that this prepaid legal services, it's definitely worth having somebody to talk to the police for you, okay? Even if it's to deny things or say that, because if you start talking, you don't know what mistakes you're going to make. If you let the lawyer do the talking for you, basically they're acting as a third party. They want to, you want to filter everything through them. You don't want to make any statements yourself. So thanks for watching. Hope you all enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you all soon. Hey everyone. Something important I wanted to add. I meant to say it earlier, but I got myself sidetracked. Part of the reason why a lot of times I will switch roles with the trainee, where I'm the shooter and they're behind me giving instructions, okay, and I want them to give active instructions the way I do. Particularly, I want them to instruct me, right, to reholster the gun when when it should be reholstered and I don't do so. Okay, and to give you an example, like, so I'll come out, I'll be like bang bang, right, I'll come in, and then from there, let's say students behind me. I mean, I know where they are, and I'll start, let's say, maybe walking like this, right, which is at that point the gun should be reholstered, right. Shouldn't be just walking around with the gun one hand like this. They need to see that and tell me to reholster the gun, because in a self-defense type of situation, they need to be aware of where other people are pointing their guns. Are they reholstering them? And they need to be able to give that kind of instruction. Now, if it's very likely, okay, highly likely that in that type of situation, people are not going to reholster their guns because they haven't received this type of training, or any type of concealed carry training, even like very basic, on the flat range. So they're not going to reholster their gun, and in which case you have to recognize that those other people might be just as dangerous as as the active shooter, right? So in which case you want to be at the back of the line, right? You want to let them go first. You be in the back, and if you see them pointing the gun, in your direction, take cover, okay? But that's part of the reason why I train people both ways, right? Both as the trainee, but also giving instruction, right? Where they go behind me and basically giving me instruction, telling me what targets to move. And like I said, I will intentionally pull the gun out of the holster, and not point it in their direction, but kind of make it obvious that this gun at this point should be in a holster, so that they recognize that the gun should be in the holster at that point. So it's just something that they start processing and start thinking about. And if they ever are in a situation like that, where other concealed carriers are not reholstering the gun when it should be reholstered, they take measures to protect themselves. I get themselves behind some type of cover, put some type of barrier behind themselves and other people that are less trained. Okay, so that's really important. Right? That's a very important survival instinct to have, right? Or you got to develop that. But that's one of the things I want people to be aware of. Okay, what other concealed carriers might be doing and what they might need to do in response to that. Talk to you all soon.